Hi everyone, and welcome to my channel where I talk about movies. My last couple videos I've talked about movies directed by Orson Welles, Alfred Hitchcock, Pantheon directors. Today I'm going to talk about a movie from 1974, and the director here is Giuseppe Petroni Griffi, who I've never heard of before. Didn't direct very many films. And the movie is called Identikit, and it's starring Elizabeth Taylor. In the U.S., it was known by The Driver's Seat, which was the title of the novel by Muriel Spark that this film is based on. And this is what you would call oddball movie making. An oddball story, to be sure. The movie making is rather prosaic, but the storyline, the character that Elizabeth Taylor is playing is one of her very adventurous roles that she was known for this period of time. This is a Severin release. It was also included in a box set called House of Psychotic Women, which gives you an idea of what this film might be about. And in Taylor's career, it is the oddball role was what she was looking for after Who's Afraid of Virginia Woolf. She was now recognized as an actress, and she wanted to play some really different kind of roles. And in fact, before this film, she made a couple films with Joseph Losey. One, Secret Ceremony, a film I always loved to tout, with Mia Farrow. She also was in with her husband, Richard Burton, at the time, Boom, also directed by Joseph Losey. And when I was watching this film, I couldn't help thinking, boy, I wish Joseph Losey would have made this film, because Griffi, it's excellent performances. There's not much visual style, although there is some great cinematography in this film. And so the basic premise is we see a woman in a department store. She's buying a dress. Garish colors, a coat of equally garish colors, and she gets very angry at the shop girl. This becomes a theme of the film. Shopping itself is the theme of the film. She's going on vacation from her job. She's going north to south. She wants to wear garish colors because that's the kind of colors they're going to wear in the South. Well, when we see her in this department store and later at home as she's preparing to leave, we sense that there's some real mental fragility here. We sense it even more when she's in the airport. She's evidently flying to Rome from a northern European city. I think they actually filmed it in Germany. And she's searching for somebody. She tells people she's meeting a man, but she doesn't know who this man is. And so you see her looking at men in a very intense manner. Is this the man I'm looking for? The men in this film become very sexually aggressive with her, except for one man that she meets on the plane, and he sees her and he's a bit scared of her, and we will see him later on in the film. So she is, in fact, kind of falling apart mentally. She is, my own interpretation of the film is, and especially with the title of the novel and the title that the English language, or the American release was The Driver's Seat. She's seeking to control her destiny. She wants to be in the driver's seat. She has a very specific destiny in mind, and it's one we would not expect, but she wants to orchestrate that destiny. She wants to reach a certain point, and she has a very specific idea of what that destiny is, but she needs a man. So she's looking to find that man. Now, the word identikit was a word I really wasn't very familiar with, so I had to look it up, the definition, and basically it has various definitions, but the one that applies to here would be identikit being a picture of a person according to witness description. So who is this person? This comes about, this identikit comes about in flash forward. So we see the narrative of Elizabeth Taylor, Lise is the name of her character, as she has these very strange encounters. And then we flash forward to the people that we've seen in these scenes. In one flash forward, we haven't even met the people yet, in which there's an investigation, a police investigation. Who is this woman? What was your role with this woman? So the movie is based on a terrific little novella. It's only about 80 pages by Muriel Spark, published in 1970, The Driver's Seat. Muriel Spark's one of my favorite novelists of the 20th century. She wrote very strange, very disorienting novels that can make a reader feel very uncomfortable. She's mostly known for The Prime of Miss Jean Brodie, which was made into a very successful Broadway play and then an adaptation in the movie with Maggie Smith. But even that film, that is not a Goodbye Mr. Chips film. Jean Brodie is a very, very unusual person. You never know what to think of her. This one is even more disoriented. It's very experimental narratively. It's not hard to read, but it certainly has its relationship to the French Nouveau Roman, the Abbé Robert Grillet and Marguerite Duras. And it's experimenting with character and with narrative structure. I think it's a terrific novel, and I highly recommend the novel. She liked the identikit title. It's actually in the novel. I was wondering where they getting this identikit, but it's the identikit. The word identikit is actually used in the novel. But the movie is really close to the novel. I mean, the novel almost reads like the screenplay. There are two significant changes. I thought the first chapter in the novel, we see Lise, Elizabeth Taylor's character, at work, and we see her, oh, I gotta go on vacation. Yes, enjoy your vacation. She's acting rather strange, and we get indications that she had been institutionalized before. So that's a different when we know that this is a lady who has specifically had problems in her life, versus in the movie where we don't see that, and so we have a sense of ourselves being disoriented. Is she really crazy? And the other element that's added is a couple of terrorism scenes that aren't in Muriel Spark's novels. Now, Muriel Spark lived in Italy for the last half, I think, of her life, and she wrote novels about terrorism in Italy, and certainly that adds a kind of contemporary feel to the film, because Lise does get caught up in the terrorism around her that only enhances her sense of not belonging. So, like I say, Griffey may not be Joseph Losey, but he gets some really good performances, especially from Elizabeth Taylor. I mean, this period in Elizabeth Taylor's career is really almost a revelation, especially to me. I grew up with her National Velvet, and then she was the wholesome star, Father of the Bride, and even in Giant, Place in the Sun. Was she actually a good actress? I think she is. And Richard Burton would say that had said that he thought that Elizabeth Taylor was a better actor than he was. Now, the fraught nature of Lise, as far as Elizabeth Taylor goes, is certainly also kind of enhanced by the fact that Elizabeth Taylor and Richard Burton, I think, had just gotten their first divorce. So she was not in the greatest state of mind, but hey, that's, that's the part that she is playing. She is voluptuous. She's only in her early 40s here, and she's still very beautiful, incredibly voluptuous. Does that play? It's not really the least of the book, but Taylor plays this part totally committed to it. and it really does come through. The supporting cast, we have Ian Bannon, who he is part of some cult, a microbiotic cult, and he is one of the men sexually aggressive to Elizabeth Taylor. He thinks you're the one. She's looking for her man. He's looking for a woman, and when he spots Elizabeth Taylor, you're the one. He's very funny in this film. And there's further comedy supplied by Mona Washburn, an elderly a woman who Elizabeth Taylor meets at the hotel she's staying in. They go on shopping adventures together. She's a recent convert to Jehovah's Witness. And certainly Muriel Spark, who was very iconoclastic. She was very, she would see that people are cracking up everywhere and joining these, what she would see as a crackpot cult. And who else is in this film? This is a real shocker. Andy Warhol is in this film. It's more than just a cameo. He has a couple of scenes. He has some dialogue. In the commentary, they say that his dialogue was dubbed. He's playing an English lord involved with some sort of African country where revolution is going on. There's upheaval in all corners of this film. And I think I mentioned the cinematography in the beginning. It looks great. It's photographed by Vittorio Storaro, who did so many Bertolucci movies and Apocalypse Now, other Coppola films. There's a music score by Franco Arcali, and it's all piano. It's very beautiful. It has very melancholy tones to it, and it really comes into the fore in the final scenes of this film. And the final scenes of this film are really well, and they're well shot by Storaro. It's at nighttime scenes in a park. We have an intro by Keir Gensi. She wrote the book House of Psychotic Women. And you can watch this intro. She doesn't give away the plot. But then we also have a commentary, and the commentary is by Millie D. Chirico. This is one of the worst commentaries I've heard all year. It's less than 50% commentary. It doesn't seem like any kind of research was done. You have a long gap, and here's my favorite scene, and then the scene continues on, or what a great shot this is, that kind of thing. So you can skip the commentary. There are a couple moments for sure that she gives you some useful information. Much better is a documentary or a conversation with Chandra Mayor and a video discussion of the film called Lack of Absence. She is a Muriel Spark literary historian, so she gives you a lot to learn about Muriel Spark, an author I very much highly recommend. So Identikit is a film for Elizabeth Taylor fans, for sure. You've got to see this if you're an Elizabeth Taylor fan. But also for connoisseurs of oddball movies. Okay, thanks a lot for everybody who managed to listen. I do appreciate it. Comments are welcome. Take care.